Alright, how's it going, everyone? Today we're doing something a little bit different for the channel. We are going to do a flip through of something I've had on my pile for a good minute now. Yokai Hunters Society. A rules light pen and paper RPG about monster hunters in Meiji, Japan. So we're going to do this and then we'll roll up a little character too. So we'll do a flip through and kind of go over what the system entails. A Punkpadour game dug by Goons. Words, illustration, and layout design by Chema Gonzales. Edited by Tyler Crumrine. Layout design advice by Sala Gonzales. And based on Tunnel Goons by Chema. Text licensed under a Creative Commons. So we got a table of contents here, 11 the halftone. Alright. In the highest level, a man has the look of knowing nothing. A quote by Yamamoto Tsunetomo, who I had to look up. They were a samurai in the Saga domain in the Hizen province. Alright, introduction. What is this game? Yokai Hunter Society is a rules-light pen and paper role-playing game in which you fight Japanese monsters, or yokai. You and a few friends gather around a table to create interactive stories using conversation, imagination, and dice. We all know this. There's a Grandmaster, GM, the rest will... one of the players will take the role of the Grandmaster, the rest will portray monster hunters during Meiji, Japan. We know what a GM does. How far you want to take the role-playing aspects of the game, matter of taste. It's alright, no wrong or right, as long as everybody at the table is having a good time. The tone, which I did not realize this. I didn't know that this game was like sort of horror. But the adventures you can play in Yokai Hunter Society range from facing the monster of the week to complex investigations or political plots to routine cleansing jobs. A horror genre approach to the game's story is recommended. Bonus points if it gestures toward the psychological horror. Ooh. Characteristics found in many Japanese film and comics. If that's not your thing, you can use it to tell mystery or action stories as well. Historical fidelity to Meiji, Japan is also a matter of preference. You can make yokai in the society unknown to the population, or you can go for an apocalyptic approach in which yokai are a plague about to change the course of history. What you need: these rules, 2 8-sided dice, 4 6-sided die. When asked to roll 1d3, roll 1d6, okay, divided by 2, pen and paper, 2 more players, a character sheet for each hunter player. We have our character sheet here and a backup in case we botch this one. Hunter creation. Concept and paths. Roll 4d6 per column on the hunter creation table, page 8, and add their total to randomly choose your name. Gender, age, 2 traits, roll twice, and occupation. Or if you'd rather not leave things to chance, we will be leaving them to chance, by the way. You can choose. In either case, describe how you look and the mask you wear while hunting. As a hunter, you utilize 4 paths to solve any given situation: courage, self-control, sharpness, and wisdom. During hunter creation, distribute 4 points between these paths. Your starting health points are equal to 8 plus your courage points. Your curse resistance tracker starts with 2 plus your self-control points. A hunter cannot have more than 4 resistance points at any given time. Okay, background. As a member of the Yokai Hunter Society, you take on an oath to help cleanse the world of abominations known as yokai. We work discreetly, we never abandon our obligations, and they live seemingly normal lives in their daily routines until they receive a splint with engraved spirals, and then the hunt begins. Experiences, traits, occupational abilities, and goals grant you advantages. These character details are not mere ornaments, so always keep them in mind. General rule of thumb: I am a trait and trait, occupation, who, something from your past, and seeks a goal. Okay. We got equipment. We'll flash back to this page. So let's do our pads first. Okay, so we got 46. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Oh, for this, we can just distribute 4. So, I'm going to do... just because I know a little bit about this. Let's see here. I'm going to do... Actually, you know what? Let's go with our concept first, and then we'll attribute the points. So we're gonna roll 4d6 per column. So we've got, where's our traits? We've got 4 and 10, 14. 1 trait, sincere. What was our thing? I am a sincere and, okay. Let's write this down. I am a sincere and 1 more roll in the trait column. We got an 8, a 9, a 14 again? Okay, we gotta re-roll that, right? Yeah, let's re-roll that. I'm a sincere and a sincere. Whoa. 3, and that's 6. I'm a sincere and rude. Okay, now we roll 46 for our occupation. We got a 7, a 10, a 15. A tradesman, okay. Sincere and rude tradesman. Let's say our wage. Well, we can put this in parentheses. What do we get? We get 1d8 times 10 sen a day. Ooh, okay. Let's roll 1d8. That is a 6. So a 6 times 10, 60 sen a day. All right. Now, let's see. I'm a sincere and rude tradesman who... Something from my past. And seeks a goal. So we don't have our goal, but let's say who lost well, hold on, actually. Let's see. We're not going to say lost yet. We're going to roll up a name. We're going to build this out a little bit more. Let's do our name. That's a 12. That's a 14. God damn, dude. We're just like hovering in that same area. Kiko. So, Kiko. What's our surname? You got a 9, 10, a 16. Kiko Yamada. We're going to say she a tradesman who Wait. Okay, so she's a tradesman. Let's say, what if it was like she... was cut out of a... Ooh, okay. Cut out of a deal and lost everything. I will serve justice to those who wronged me. She's rude, so she's not nice. All right. 4. We got an 8. We got a 14. Really? Okay. We're 38. 3 years older than me. 38. What's our look? Say... average build, short, ooh, what if we did I wanted to say shaved head, but I'm not gonna do that. So what about average build, short, silver hair, what if it was like pock-marked face, average build, short, silver hair, pock-marked face, and a soft voice. Our mask. Well, we'll figure out our mask here in a little bit. Okay, so now we go back. We got our background. Experience, trades, occupational, blah, 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 blah. Equipment. You can carry up to 8 small to medium-sized objects. Hammer, canteen, bag of coins, a box of matches, a katana, a rope. At a time before becoming encumbered. For each item over 8, you must subtract 1 to the result of any courage or self-control roll. Okay, so there's like a fatigue over encumbered sort of element to this. Very OSR. When you use an object to assist a task, it gives you a roll bonus. The extent of this bonus is set by rolling wisdom when you acquire or create the item. The wisdom roll represents how sharp a buyer, skilled craftsperson, or trained user you are. On a 10 or less, the bonus is simply +1. For each point above 10 on the wisdom roll, the item gets an additional bonus point. For example, a result of 12 on the roll gives you a +3 bonus every time you use that item. Oh, okay. That's cool. Your hunter starts the game with 3 free items. 2 of them must be related to their occupation. while the third is chosen by rolling 2d8 on the random item table. Okay. What is our first item? Dun, 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 dun. We're a tradesman. Items that would assist us. What would a tradesman have? So do you get a weapon for sure? That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like amulet, hammer. So here's where you would maybe get one. Loaded dice. Okay. We could say as a tradesman, Kiko has a compass. We'll say, yeah, a compass. She, by whatever means possible, she knows if she has to be somewhere to make a trade, she will get there. She knows the direction from where she is to where she needs to go, and her compass always gets her there. Okay, the bonus. So we gotta roll 2d8. Wait, is it 2d8? No, it isn't. It's 2d6. Okay. For our compass. Oh, wait, we didn't do our... So that's a 6. That's not great. So that one would be nothing. So now we actually need to distribute these. So we had 4 points to distribute. I'm going to go 1... 2, and then courage. No, we're not going to add anything to wisdom. Although, sharp. No, we're not going to add anything to courage. She's not necessarily courageous. She's just got a plan to get even. And the will to get it done. Self-control, wisdom, sharpness. Okay, there we go. And so we can add a 1 to that. That would be a 7. That doesn't give us a bonus. So plus 0. Ooh, what if it's like a ledger? That could be nice for like remembering like details and stuff. Okay, let's roll 2d6. That's an 8 plus 1, so also plus 0. Damn. Okay. Now we roll a 2d8 to see what our random item is. That's a 6 and a 3, a 9. Nothing. Brutal. Okay. Well, we didn't get anything. She really did lose everything. Our backstory was not a lie. Alright. So we got that already. You can acquire new items in-game from stores or scores in case we get some good loot while we're out. Merchants, artisans, or manufacture them yourself if you have the necessary materials. There's a non-exhaustive reference list of additional items on page 10 and 11. Okay, advancement. Every time you successfully complete a mission, you gain 2 points you can use to increase any of your path scores, increase your max HP, obtain curse resistance points, which we need to do both of those. Let's see here. Oh, damn. Yeah, our courage is 8. No, our courage is 0, so... Our HP is 8. Alright. Our curse resistance starts with 2 plus your self-control. So we've got 3 of those right now. You'll also write a simple sentence about the last mission as a new entry in your background. Oh, okay, that's with advancement. Only one path of your choice can reach a maximum of 5 points. The other 3 can be increased up to 4, 3, and 2 points respectively. A hunter's maximum HP can never exceed 15. Once hunters have reached their stat maximums, they must rely exclusively on experience, items, and knowledge. Reflect further development through additional lines in your character background, not through stats. I love that. So this is the list we just rolled on. Lots of good options here. I like the traits. The name list is a nice touch too. Yeah, some good options for occupations. I could have gotten a fucking pocket knife, but that didn't happen. Or a matchlock pistol. Ugh. Instead, I got 9. Nothing. Also, love the art in this. Chema did a nice job. This is sick. I like the halftone use, and I don't know. I just like that it's black and white line work. That's like forever my favorite. Oh, this is the non-exhaustive reference list for items. Observations. Cool. So this would... Oh, snack. 1 sen. On-pawn, rice cake, rice ball, etc. Recover 1 HP. Frugal meal recovers 1d3 HP. Good meal, rice or noodles with meat or fish and vegetables, recover 1d8 HP. Damn, alright. Beer. Oh, add the item bonus to courage rolls and subtract it from self-control, sharpness, and wisdom. Duration 2 hours. Okay. Sake. Kind of same deal here. Duration 4 hours. This is tight. You got lodging. Gourd canteen. A Hayaton. Oil lamp. Cool. This is tight. Here's some of your weapons. Longsword, tachi. Ooh, a longer longsword. Lighter, more curved than a katana. The rules. Okay, so this is kind of the meat of it. The GM, who controls the world and plays every non-player character, describes the situations. We know how this goes. Followed by you declaring what you want to do and how. GM tells you if you succeed automatically, if a task is clearly impossible, or if you need to make a roll. So this is a 2d6 system, and here's when you'll roll depending on sort of which path is best fitted for the situation. Courage for actions that involved impetuosity or anger, such as cutting a limb off a monster with your katana, jumping on the rooftops, or lifting a heavy oak desk. Self-control for actions in which it is necessary to remain calm and control one's impulses, such as using your bow to cut the rope from which a partner hangs, hiding a lie, or elegantly performing a tea ceremony. Sharpness for actions that involve any of your senses, such as spotting someone hiding in the shadows, hearing a conversation from afar, or smelling the incense being burnt in the next door. Wisdom for actions that require certain knowledge or prudent and thoughtful behavior, such as making a talisman, knowing the weak points of a certain yokai, or properly addressing a noble. With those paths in mind, you roll 2d6 and add to the result the points from the relevant path. So if we had a sharpness roll, we would roll 2d6, a 4, and add 2, that's 6. We would not have succeeded. If you're using an item to perform the action, you also add that. So, not gonna work particularly well for us with our plus zeros and our lack of a third free item, but that's okay. So this is the system is hard. It's brutal, and we'll get into this a couple pages in, I think, maybe even next couple pages. On a roll of 10 or above, you succeed. On a 9, you succeed but suffer a consequence. In Japan, the number 9 is considered to bring bad luck, as its sound reminds that of the word suffering. On an 8 or less, you fail and the situation escalates. Just how much the situation escalates is left to the discretion of the GM. And if you think about that, that is brutal. I looked up the bell curve for D6s. 16.55% chance of rolling a 10 or above. And 11.11% to roll a 9. Just a 9. So you've got an 82.34% chance to fail and escalate the situation. That's a pretty sizable probability that you'll fail and escalate the situation. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. When I first read through this and did a couple practice rolls, I was thinking, holy shit, this is brutal. No one's gonna like this. This would be a tough sell for players at your table, but I kind of feel like, and maybe this is just me personally, I feel like success is too readily available in modern role-playing games. I don't know. I mean, I think that people go about roles in tabletop role-playing games like not that worried about failure, because I don't think it really happens that often. I don't know, there's so many ways to like boost with stat bonuses and weapon bonuses, and I don't know, I mean, I just think that failure is not necessarily a bad thing, and if you fail something and it escalates the situation, I feel like that can be pretty sick. I mean, especially if you're like dealing with monsters and on sort of like in a horror RPG sense, like escalating the situation that's the meat, baby. That's that good shit. But anyways, we'll get more into that. Antagonist. The difficulty score in most situations is 10. When you face an antagonist, however, human, animal, or yokai, the target number may be greater depending on their level. The GM may or may not disclose an antagonist level to a hunter. Regardless of level, if you roll a 9, you still succeed with dire consequences. Which is nice that stays constant through the whole thing. Any other result below the antagonist difficulty score means you don't reach your goal. Advantages and disadvantages. Should an action have something to see? And this is another thing. Like, instead of just expecting or just like bolstering your roll results with like a million modifiers and bonuses, critical thinking and like clever planning. Get yourself into a position where you have the advantage. You know, like that's, I feel like, when success should be like the reward. Anyways, should an action have something to do with your hunter's background, occupation, traits, experiences, or goals? If another hunter is giving you a hand, or if the current circumstance has you in a favorable position, include an extra d6 in your roll and ignore the lowest result. Let's say we got an advantage and we are trying to maybe like listen in on a conversation happening like at the back of, like, behind like a busy stall in a market, and we have like direct line of sight. I don't know, maybe we're able to like very clearly read the lips of the person we're trying to listen in on. That could be an advantage. I mean, that's an insane roll anyways. So we would drop the lowest, which, man, let's pretend that was a 3. All right, so we would drop the 3 and 11. That's a success regardless. We would have won that no matter what, but you get what I mean. Adding that extra d6 is nice. If, on the contrary, there's something that puts you in an unfavorable situation, roll 3d6 and discard the highest roll. Same situation, but a fight has broken out, one stall over, and it's just pandemonium. Boop. Get rid of that 3. That's a 2, baby. Plus our 2. No good. If a situation has both advantages and disadvantages, it will be the GM who decides whether they cancel each other out, or if one outweighs the other. Damage and health. If a situation presents a physical risk to you or the target, the difference between the... To you or the targeting reaction, the difference between the total result of your roll and the task or antagonist difficulty score is the amount of damage you take. If a situation presents a physical risk to you or the target of your action, the difference between the total result of your roll and the task or antagonist difficulty score is the amount of damage you take, under or deal over. So, let's say, what would that be? If we're trying to cut the arm off a monster, let's say. And so we're going to roll a courage roll, which self-control would be like the ranged combat. That's a 7 plus 0. Oh, boy. So would that just be if a situation presents a physical risk to you? I guess if you're in a fight, would that mean that I would take, let's say the target, the difficulty score was 10, because it was just like kind of a normal, maybe it wasn't a monster, maybe it was like a bandit, and just your standard bandit outside of town, or just like highwayman. So if I rolled a 7 on that plus 0, would my character being in combat, it would pose a physical risk to me. Total result of your roll and the task or antagonist difficulty. Okay, yeah, that's the difference between it. So a 7, that would be 3. So I would take 3 damage. Shit, okay. To recover 1d8 HP, you need a night of good rest in a safe place and a good meal. Rest in a frugal meal only recovers 1d3 HP. You cannot gain points above your maximum. If a hunter loses all their HP in a situation, they die. And then you have the cursed die. Cursed. If you'd like to risk your soul to potentially improve a single action, you may add a cursed die, 1d8 to your roll, and discard the lowest result. If the result on the cursed die is greater than your actual curse resistance points, you attract bad luck and lose a point from your curse resistance tracker, no matter if you succeed or fail. The cursed die cannot be used with advantage, and a hunter cannot have more than 4 curse resistance points. Let's try it. Same scenario with the highwayman. And we have, let's say we had like 2 HP left, and we just needed to, we're going to risk our soul. And we've got 3 curse resistance. So let's roll this. We're trying to stab them. Wait a minute. Add a cursed die to your roll and discard the lowest result. Okay, so that would be the cursed die. And we've got, an 8 on that. So we didn't lose a point from our curse resistance there. We also didn't succeed at what we were trying to do. So there we would take 2 damage instead, which that would have killed us. Should you lose all your points, you cannot use the cursed die and are doomed to make every roll with disadvantage. Whoa. To get rid of the curse and regain 1d3 curse resistance points, you must visit a sacred place and pay the cost of the cleanse. This cost may or may not be monetary. Ooh. Then we have some information on the Meiji restoration. This is amazing. I love it. I love how comic booky it is. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Sun Tzu. Okay, yeah, Meiji restoration. Essentially, like the samurai class sort of like being dissolved, and Japan's opening the ports to American vessels, which some people think is barbaric. A proliferation of nativist theories that foster national and xenophobic sentiment in favor of the emperor contribute to unrest as well. There's strong economic and social crisis, populist uprisings, and the discontent of the impoverished samurai in the face of emerging commercial class. And yeah, year is 1889. After months of deliberation, a constitution is about to be approved, giving absolute power to Emperor Meiji. Yeah, a lot of modernization, the abolition of feudal privileges, the establishment of European-style political police and judicial systems, restructuring of the army, but not everyone is happy. Yokai sightings essentially increase while all this is happening. Wait, how much money do we have? Sorry, I just realized I looked over. 60 sen. Yeah, well, that's not important. But not everyone is happy. So, a lot of yokai have been cited during this sort of change and this progress within the country. Some blame the barbarians, others accuse nostalgics of the Bakufu times, and a few even dare to hold His Majesty responsible. The truth is, nobody knows the reason behind the uptick in sightings for sure. The Yokai Garikai. Yokai are supernatural beings that adopt a wide variety of forms, including humans, animals, plants, objects, and even natural phenomena. As these monsters generally hide their true nature until they are ready to act, most people dismiss them as superstition. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Yokai Garikai, or Yokai Hunter Society, has been around for centuries. All hunters wear traditional masks while on missions, both as protection against their spirits and to help them keep their identities secret. All masks share the same spiral engravings, but each mask presents a custom design that hunters can recognize each other. That's cool. We got currency. We have 100 rin equals 1 sen. So I make 600 rin a day, 60 sen, almost 1 yen. I'm 40 short. Got weapons. Firearms are under tighter control, and authorities are not pleased about it. And although the samurais have kind of been dissolved, that doesn't mean that everyone can carry swords either. Price of traditional Japanese weapons may vary greatly depending on the smith's mastery. For simplicity, weapons of regular quality, 10 or less on the wisdom roll, cost about 10 yen, except for the yumi, which costs about 5. The yumi is a longbow. The price is multiplied by 10 for each extra item bonus point obtained in a wisdom roll. Hunters can acquire a lower quality weapon from the same vendor in case they are not willing to pay for the one they have found thanks to their roll. But they cannot acquire a higher quality one, even if they have the money to pay for it. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. So they can't acquire a higher one. They have to find a smith that's better. So they can't pay more to get a better weapon than the one they roll on. Religion, sacred items. During the Tokugawa era, the majority religion was Buddhism. Meiji government, however, tried to reinforce a national religion, an animist-type creed called Shinto, since it was the pillar on which the mythical legitimacy of the emperor was sustained. Although Shinto was adopted as the national faith, in 1873 the principle of religious freedom was promulgated. I don't know that word. I'm assuming put into place. And even Christianity became legal. Cool. Simple religious items can be purchased easily and cheap in any holy place. But for them to have any real magical effects, the item must be blessed. Through a ritual performed by a priest or monk. It's not cheap. Religious items and blessings are the same system as weapons. 10 yen for a regular plus 1 and multiply by 10 for each point. Cool. The Grandmaster. Just some tips on kind of what to do during your game. You'll have to answer a lot of questions. Rules of this game are quite minimal, so you find yourself in situations for which there are no specific rules. Add or adapt whatever rules you think are or are not necessary. This game is yours to hack and play the way you like. To help you create some adventures, included tables. Yeah, there are a ton of tables. So we have some questions that will help you like sort of flesh out the world that you're, or the kind of the scenario that you're in. Does the emperor know about this society? Is the general population aware of what is happening, or do they think this society is nothing more than a myth? So that's pretty tight. If you don't want to go with like, you know, the sort of built-in system. Difficulty. Okay, so this is cool. You might think a default difficulty score of 10 is pretty high when players will be rolling 2d6, and you're right. The most frequent outcomes are 6, 7, and 8. Pretty low results even after adding the relevant path points, especially for low-level characters. If you think that's going too hard on your players, you can always use the alternate scalable difficulty scores from the table below. But let me give you 3 reasons behind the difficulty decision first. So here, there's a difficulty of the task, score needed to pass. This is like an alternate table. Mundane without pressure, automatic success. Easy with some pressure. 8 becomes the standard 10 now. 9 still has the bad luck, success, dire consequences. Moderate, medium is when it gets to 10, and hard is 12. So here are the 3 reasons. When using the default difficulty, you shouldn't ask for a roll when a task is easy, or for something the characters would be able to do in normal circumstances. Save rolls for difficult tasks for when the characters are trying to do something under some kind of pressure. Once you've decided that a roll is needed, keep in mind that every roll should move the plot forward, and that every failed roll should also have consequences. Ask for rolls when both success and failure would have an interesting impact on the story. The default difficulty level should push players to find imaginative ways of taking advantage, kind of what I was talking about earlier, that makes total sense, of their characters, items, and backstories. Try to prevent hunters from simply saying what they want to do and then doing it. Encourage them to explain exactly how they'd like to achieve their task. To do this, be clear when describing scenes so players can stem the tide of a situation using their environment. I love that. The way you track time in-game will depend on the needs of each scene. The hunters are traveling, but nothing interesting is supposed to happen. You can just flash forward hours, days, or even weeks and give them a brief description. If the time spent traveling may turn into something challenging or cool, though, or limited resources play an important role in traveling, you should measure it in turns. In this case, adapt the time span of the turns to the duration of the trip. A single investigation and exploration scene turn covers about 10 minutes of in-game time, allowing 1 action to each hunter per turn. Okay, as for combat and encounters in general, rounds last 10 seconds. Okay, so they're moving pretty quick. Each hunter can move, a hunter and NPCs can move 30 feet, 10 meters, and perform 1 single relevant action. Even when playing in turns, the narrative should dictate the order in which hunters and NPCs play. But if the situation is too complicated or you prefer a more tactical approach, you can use initiative rolls. I like that. I like the idea that this takes precedence, the narrative takes precedence over initiative rolls. Each player rolls one. If you were going to do initiative, this is what it would be. Each player rolls 1d6 and adds the path points of their choice. Their first action must follow that path. Oh, that's cool. I like that. All right. So if the scene starts and you want to like brute force your way in, like throw a massive haymaker or something and knock the NPC out. If you were doing initiative, you would roll your 1d6, add in your courage, and then if you did go first, I'm assuming it's high roll. An ascending order, starting from the player with the lowest result. Oh, actions are resolved in descending. Oh, okay, so there we go. An ascending order declares their intentions. Oh, that's cool. In ascending order, starting from the player with the lowest result, everyone declares their intentions. The actions are resolved in descending order, starting from the player with the highest result. Cool. Oh, that's kind of cool. So then if you have the highest result, you can sort of like pick what you would want to do. Ooh, that could get crazy. I like that. Cool. More tables. Oh yeah, this is like a sort of like a mission generator. There's some tables to help do that. Favors a monk or priest might ask for. NPC attitude towards. 1d8. Social interaction. Intimidation. Modifier. Cool. Like that. Very negative. Listening. Very positive. Terrified. Cool. Yokai and NPC creation. We're not going to get super into that, but so the GM never rolls for an NPC. Instead, hunters roll to react to antagonist actions. The only stat the GM needs for an NPC is their level, so that they can add that number to the usual difficulty score of 10. For humans and animals, that result is also their HP, which means their difficulty score will decrease as they receive damage. Oh. That's cool. Yokai have 10 plus 1d3 per level HP. Alright, and their difficulty score won't start decreasing until their HP match their difficulty score number. For example, a level 3 Yokai will have between 13 and 19 HP depending on the roll, and a difficulty score of 13. Once its HP is equal to 12 or less, its difficulty score will match. Okay, so their difficulty score doesn't decrease until their HP hits that difficulty score, and then it goes down from there. Oh, so the higher level, that's brutal. So they have a larger window of their difficulty score remaining pretty high. So brutal. All right, a level 3 Yokai. Wouldn't that just like... That's a difficulty score... Is that a difficulty score of 19? No. For humans and animals, that result is also their HP. Wait. Their level... Okay, so that just changes. Now their difficulty score would be like their level 13. It's just it would... Okay, sorry, I got all mixed up there. If you think an NPC is key to the plot and needs more detail, you can always use the hunter creation rules and play them like a character for resolution purposes. Numbers don't make characters interesting, though, but rather their personality, motivations, wishes, and fears. For Yokai, this also includes special abilities or powers. Give them a couple of singular attacks you can exploit during encounters as well. Included here are 10 examples of Yokai, but you can find more amazing monsters online thanks to Matthew Meyer's spectacular work at yokai.com. His descriptions of Yokai and legends are a fantastic source of inspiration. You can also find them here in the Book of Yokai. the expanded second edition. I got this edition because it's gorgeous and I love the cover. This is by Michael Dillon Foster. And this shit has, like, essentially a bestiary in it. But it's pretty, like, almost like an educational sort of text. But yeah. This is awesome. Totally worth checking it out. I don't want to flip through it on camera. Just, that feels eh. But yeah, check that out. Find some screenshots or excerpts. Read through them. But so far, it's been great. Let's see here. Kappa. Humanoid amphibian the size of a human child that inhabits rivers, lakes, and ponds. It loves cucumbers, but also feeds on human entrails. So it's levels 1d3. Kutengu. Whoa. Sarigami. The yokai that resembles a fierce wild monkey of enormous size, but is intelligent and able to speak. They live in the mountains, but sometimes go down to the village to kidnap women. Special abilities, extremely strong. +1 to strength-related actions. Great climbers. Ooh. Norianago. Completely soaked young woman covered with dry leaves and dirt that appears on roads near rivers, lakes, and ponds. She will follow those who return her smile for the rest of their lives. That sucks. The new Peppo. Piece of shapeless flesh with legs. Holy shit, okay. Oni. We all know the Oni. Omazake Baba. An emaciated old woman. Nekomata. Tatsu. Rokubi. That's fucked. I hate that. But yeah, I think that... Oh yeah, then we got our little character sheet here too. Other than drawing the mask, I mean, character creation's pretty damn easy. This, I'm going to try to solo. I don't know when we'll get to it. But this has been on my list for a minute of things to try to solo. So I think it'll be tough because this really does feel like a game that's meant for a GM and a group, just with all the different perspectives and, you know, variants and the path distributions, but we're gonna at least try it. Anyway, yeah, this is Yokai Hunter Society. Haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I can't stop thinking about it, I'll tell you that much. I love the art. Chema Gonzales knocked it out of the damn park. Yeah, check it out. I got this online. I don't know where specifically I got this, but yeah, check it out. I think it was like $10. Art's great. Concept's killer. Stay tuned. We'll try to get some solo going. Anyways, thanks y'all. Appreciate you.